welcome again. Now in this session we are going to study about types of chemical bonds. So in general we have two kinds of bonds, ionic bond and covalent bond. So if any compound will be having ionic bond, then it will be forming ionic compounds, whereas if any compound will be having covalent bonds, then it will be forming covalent compounds. So this concept is common in both chapter number 3, metals and non-metals, and chapter number 4, carbon and its compounds. So let's start with the session. So what is ionic bond? So the chemical bond formed by the transfer of electrons from one atom to another is called ionic bond. Okay, so what do we mean by this? For example, if I talk about the compound NaCl, okay, so here Na is actually a metal, whereas chlorine is a non-metal. Okay, if I talk about the electronic configuration of Na, it will be 281 and chlorine will be 287. So actually every atom wants to achieve the noble gas configuration, that is, it wants to have 8 electrons in the outermost shell so as to become stable. So for Na to become stable, it will be losing its 1 electron, and if Cl wants to become stable, it will have to accept 1 electron, right? So there will be transfer of electron from sodium, and that transfer will be complete transfer. So that is why the bond between them will be ionic bond. Okay. Now ionic bond is formed between a metal and a non-metal. Now let me tell you why. See, every metal will be having 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost shell except for hydrogen, whereas non-metals will be having 5, 6, 7 electrons in the outermost shell. Now in order to become stable, non-metals require the electron, whereas in order to become stable, metals have to lose these electrons, and that is why the bond which will be there between metals and non-metals will be ionic bond. Cause ionic bond follows the same concept that एक एटम तो इलेक्ट्रॉन को completely ट्रांसफर करे दूसरे एटम को, एंड दूसरा एटम उसको completely एक्सेप्ट कर ले. ठीक है. Now let us see how ionic compounds are formed. So let me tell you one thing, that ionic compounds are also called electrovalent compounds. So exam में अगर आया कि tell the properties of electrovalent compound, so don't get confused. तो electrovalent तो हमने पढ़ा ही नहीं, हमने तो ionic पढ़ा है, पर ionic और electrovalent ये एक ही चीज है. ठीक है. Because electric charges on the atoms are involved in the bond formation. That is why इसको electrovalent compounds भी कहते हैं. So there are certain examples of ionic compounds, NaCl, magnesium chloride, potassium chloride and magnesium oxide. तो इनको हम एक एक करके देखते हैं, तो फिर आपको समझ आएगा कि एग्जाम में अगर आपको वो बोलते हैं कि इलेक्ट्रॉन डॉट स्ट्रक्चर बनाना है आपको किसी आयनिक कंपाउंड का, तो आप कैसे बनाओगे. ओके. तो सबसे पहले तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिए कि आयनिक कंपाउंड हमेशा एक मेटल और एक नॉन मेटल के बीच में होगा. तो कभी अगर आपको कुछ कंपाउंड्स के वो नेम दे दे और आपको बोलें कि टेल अस वेदर इट्स एन आयनिक कंपाउंड और अ कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड, तो सबसे पहले ये चेक करिएगा कि वो बना कैसे है, क्या वो एक मेटल और नॉन मेटल से बना है. अगर हाँ, तो ये कंफर्म एक आयनिक कंपाउंड है. हाउएवर इसमें एक एक्सेप्शन है, अमोनियम क्लोराइड, जो कि एक आयनिक कंपाउंड है पर 2 नॉन मेटल से बना हुआ है. सो लिविंग दिस एक्सेप्शन, एवरी मेटल एंड नॉन मेटल विल बी हैविंग आयनिक बॉन्ड. So let us see their formation one by one. So if I talk about NaCl, so NaCl will be having 1 electron in the outermost shell and chlorine will be having 7 electron in the outermost shell. So I can say that Na is 1 electron in the outermost shell and chlorine is 7 electrons in the outermost shell. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now the sodium is having electronic configuration of 281, whereas chlorine is having electronic configuration of 287. So the sodium will be transferring this electron completely to chlorine so that this 1 electron gets removed, whereas after accepting this 1 electron, chlorine will be having the stable configuration of 2,8,8. So let us see now what happens. So after losing this 1 electron, sodium will become positive charge, whereas chlorine on acceptance of electron will have minus charge. Okay. So in this way we can represent the electron dot structure of sodium chloride. Similarly, if I talk about KCl, which is potassium chloride. So potassium is 2, 8, 8, 1. So if you are not aware about how this electronic configuration is done, then please go through the concept class. And chlorine will be having the electronic configuration of 2, 8, 7. Now chlorine will be having 7 electrons in the outermost shell, whereas potassium will be having 1 electron in the outermost shell. Now in order to become stable, the potassium has to lose this 1 electron from its outermost shell, whereas chlorine has to accept that electron. In this way, potassium will be plus charge, whereas chlorine will have negative charge. So this is how it is done. Okay, now let me take 2 more examples for this. So let us talk about magnesium oxide. So magnesium oxide is basically made from 1 atom of magnesium and 1 atom of oxygen, right? So magnesium will be having 2 electrons in the outermost shell because its atomic number is 12. So it will be 2, 8, 2. Whereas oxygen will be having 6 electrons in the outermost shell because its atomic number is 8. That is why electronic configuration will be 2, 6. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electrons in the outermost shell of oxygen and 2 electrons in the outermost shell of magnesium. Now in order to become stable, magnesium will be losing its 2 electron and will be transferring it to oxygen. Now oxygen will be completely accepting those 2 electrons. In this way, magnesium will acquire the charge of 2 plus and will become cation, whereas oxygen will be accepting the 2 electrons from the magnesium and will be acquiring the charge of 2 minus, right? In this way, the electron dot structure of magnesium oxide is done, right? Now let us talk about magnesium chloride. So pay close attention to this. So here if you see, the magnesium chloride compound is made from a metal and non-metal. So it is for sure that the bond between them will be ionic bond, and that is why magnesium chloride is an ionic compound. Now talking about this compound, so it is made from 1 magnesium atom and 2 chlorine atom, right? So we can say Mg282 here and 2 chlorine atom can be written here like this way. So it will be 287 and 287, right? So magnesium will be having 2 electrons in the outermost shell, whereas chlorine will be having 7 electrons in the outermost shell, which I am denoting like this. Now 1 electron of this magnesium will be transferred to this chlorine atom, whereas the another electron will be transferred to this chlorine atom, right? In this way, magnesium will be having 2 plus charge. Talking about chlorine, so chlorine on accepting the electron will become negative charge here, and here also it would be negative charge, right? So this is how we are going to denote them. I hope now you have understood the formation of ionic compounds. Now let us understand the covalent bonds and covalent compounds. So what are covalent bonds? The covalent bonds are the chemical bonds that are formed by the sharing of electrons. So every time it is not possible for an atom to completely give its electron to the another atom. In that way, the 2 atoms will be sharing the electrons. For example, if I talk about HCl. So HCl is a compound which is made from 1 non-metal and another non-metal. So whenever there are 2 non-metals which are combining, then every time the bond will be covalent bond and the compound will be called as covalent compound. So here if you see, every non-metal actually is there to accept the electron because it has 5, 6, 7 electrons in the outermost shell. So they are willing to accept the electron in order to become stable. In that way, whenever a non-metal and a non-metal will combine, they will actually share the electrons and will form covalent bond. Now these covalent bonds can be of 3 types. It could be single covalent bond, double covalent bond and triple covalent bond. So whenever there is sharing of single electron, then single covalent bond is formed between the atoms. However, if they are sharing 2 electrons, then double covalent bonds will be formed between them. And if they are sharing 3 electrons, then triple covalent bond will be formed between them. Let us see them one by one. So if I talk about hydrogen, ammonia and water. So they have single covalent bond. So if I talk about hydrogen, so hydrogen is having single electron in the outermost shell, and this another hydrogen is also having single electron in the outermost shell. Now this hydrogen has to become stable. For this, it will share one electron from the another hydrogen atom and will have two electrons in the outermost shell. Similarly, this hydrogen atom will also be sharing one electron from the first hydrogen and will be acquiring the stable configuration. And that's the reason that hydrogen is always found in molecule. It is always formed as H2 because that's the most stable form of hydrogen. Now talking about ammonia. So ammonia is made from one nitrogen atom and three hydrogen atom. So nitrogen have the atomic number of 7. Okay, and that is why it will have 5 electrons in the outermost shell, whereas hydrogen has the atomic number of 1 and it has 1 electron in the outermost shell. Now how they are going to combine with one another? So you have nitrogen here and you have 3 hydrogen here. So this hydrogen is having single electron in the outermost shell. Similarly, this hydrogen also and this hydrogen also. Now you have 5 electrons of nitrogen in the outermost shell. So you can place them like this. One near to this hydrogen, one near to this hydrogen and one near to this hydrogen. Okay. The 3 electrons is here and 2 electrons are here. In this way, first of all, this hydrogen wants to become stable. So it will be sharing 1 electron from this nitrogen in order to become stable. And since it's sharing only one single electron, and that is why it will have only single bond. Similarly, this hydrogen will also become stable by sharing only single electron from this nitrogen. Same is with this hydrogen also. Now talking about nitrogen. So nitrogen was having 5 electrons in the outermost shell. Now by sharing 3 electrons from these hydrogen, it will be having 8 electrons in the outermost shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this way, nitrogen will also have 8 electrons in the outermost shell after sharing the electrons. So how you are going to draw it? Going to draw it like this. Single bond between nitrogen and hydrogens, right? Now talking about water. So water molecule have 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. So you can write in this way, 1 oxygen atom and 2 hydrogen atoms. Now hydrogen is having 1 electron in the outermost shell and here also 1 electron in the outermost shell. Now oxygen is having 6 electrons in the outermost shell because its atomic number is 8 and that is why it will be having 6 electrons in the outer. So you can represent like this, 1 electron towards hydrogen, another electron towards this hydrogen and rest 1, 2, 4 electrons here. Okay. Now let us see how they are going to share the electrons. So this hydrogen will be sharing the electron with this oxygen and will be having single bond. Similarly, this hydrogen will also be sharing 1 electron from the oxygen and will be having single bond. Now this oxygen will be having 6 electrons in the outermost shell and 2 electrons will be shared from hydrogen. In this way, it will have 8 electrons in the outermost shell and thus all the 3 atoms are stable now. So this is how the sharing is done in water. Now let us take the examples of double bonds. Oxygen, carbon dioxide gas and ethene, all of them have double bond. Okay, let us show how. So if I talk about oxygen, so oxygen is having 2 atoms, okay, and it is having 6 electrons in the outermost shell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in order to become stable, this oxygen requires 2 more electrons, which it can share from the another oxygen. Similarly, this also requires 2 more electrons. So this oxygen will be sharing 2 electrons from the adjacent oxygen. Similarly, this oxygen will also be sharing 2 electrons in order to become stable, right? Since they are sharing 2 electrons, and that is why they will be having 2 bonds between them. So it would be like this. Now let us take the example of carbon dioxide. So let us write C here and 2 oxygen atoms here. Okay, so carbon is having 4 electrons in the outermost shell because the atomic number of carbon is 6 and that is why its electronic configuration is 2, 4. So let us put it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. And oxygen is having 6 electrons in the outermost shell. So let me put it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And here also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in order to become stable, this oxygen will be the 2 of the electrons from the carbon. Similarly, this oxygen will also be sharing 2 electrons from this carbon. In this way, these 2 oxygen has become stable. Now carbon will be taking 2 electrons from this oxygen and 2 electrons from this oxygen. In that way, it has also acquired 8 electrons in the outermost shell, and thus the bond between them will be O double bond C double bond O, because they are sharing 2 electrons. Now talking about ethene. So ethene is having 2 carbon atoms and 4 hydrogen atoms. So hydrogen is having single electron in the outermost shell. This hydrogen is also having single electron in the outermost shell. Similarly, this hydrogen is also having single electron outermost shell, and same is here. Now talking about carbon, so it has 4 electrons in the outermost shell. So let me represent them like this. So one here, so that it become easier for me to show how the bond is formed. And 2 here. Similarly 2 here, 1 here and 1 here. Now let us see how they will be sharing the electron. So hydrogen will be sharing 1 electron from the carbon to become stable. Same with this hydrogen also. Same with this hydrogen and same with this hydrogen. Now talking about carbon, so carbon will be sharing 2 electrons from the another carbon, and in this way it will be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it would be 8 electrons for this carbon, and for another carbon it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8. So this is how the bonding will be done. So it will be H single bond C, because only 1 electron is being shared with them. Again single bond H, double bond C, because they are sharing 2 electrons with them, and single bond H and single bond H. Now let us talk about nitrogen. Nitrogen is N2. It means it is made from 2 atoms, N and N. So nitrogen has the atomic number of 7. That is why it will be having 5 electrons in the outermost shell, which I am going to represent like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now after 5, it will require 3 more electrons in order to become stable. For this, it will be sharing those 3 electrons from the adjacent nitrogen and will become stable. Similarly, this nitrogen will also share 3 of the electrons from this nitrogen and will become stable, and that is why nitrogen is always found as N2, because that is more stable form. Now talking about C2H2. So C2H2 is basically ethyne. Again this ethyne will be having 2 carbon atoms and 2 hydrogen atoms. Now hydrogen is having 1 electron in the outermost shell. Similarly, this hydrogen is also having 1 electron in the outermost shell. Now carbon is having 4 electrons in the outermost shell. So 1 is here and 3 are here. Similarly, 1 is here and 3 are here. So do pay close attention on how I am writing the number of outermost electron. Now in order to become stable, this hydrogen will be sharing the electron from this carbon. Similarly, this hydrogen will also be sharing the electron from this carbon, and for this carbon it will be sharing 1 electron from this hydrogen and 3 electron from this carbon, and this carbon will be sharing 1 electron from this hydrogen and 3 electrons from this carbon. In that way, now the bond between them will be C triple bond C, single bond H and single bond H. Now why triple bond? Because it's sharing 3 electrons from the other carbon. Now this is very important. What is the difference between ionic compounds and covalent compounds? So ionic compounds are crystalline solid. This is because since ionic compounds are made from positive and negative charge, that is why these positive and negative charge are held by strong force of attraction, and therefore it forms regular crystallized structure. Talking about covalent bonds, So their forces of attraction between the molecules is very weak. That is why they are usually liquid and gases, and only some are solids. So ionic compounds have high melting point and boiling point. Again the same reason. This is because of the strong force of attraction between the opposite charged ions. And covalent compounds have low melting and boiling point and are usually volatile because of the weak forces of attraction between the molecules of covalent compounds. Now ionic compounds will conduct electricity when dissolved in water, because ionic compounds are made from ions, and when you dissolve it in water, then it will split into ions, and movement of ions will conduct the electricity, whereas covalent compounds do not conduct electricity. Ionic compounds are usually soluble in water, whereas insoluble in organic solvents. Now covalent compounds are mostly insoluble in water, however they are soluble in organic solvent. So this was all about ionic compounds and covalent compounds, and we also learned how to draw the electron dot structure, which is very important. Now I am going to meet you in the next video, in which we are going to discuss about extraction of metals. Do subscribe us on YouTube, do follow us on Facebook, and do follow us on Insta. Till then, bye bye and take care of yourself.